Evil Dead fans? Now, a lot of people ask me questions about chainsaws, things like that on the side. I get messages all the time about that and other Ash vs. Evil Dead stuff especially. But one thing that always comes up now is the Kandarian daggers. So in this video, I'm gonna go over the differences between these three daggers. So what we have here is we have the Evil Dead 1 dagger that I sculpted recently. We have the Evil Dead 2 that I sculpted a year ago. And from Etsy, Mr. David Bartrug, Monster Collectors, the Kandarian dagger, that's from a mold, I think it is, from a screen used Evil Dead 2 Kandarian dagger. So we're gonna compare all of them, see the differences, talk about the differences, and what has been remade, what's been redone, and why I've done certain things to these. And I hope this helps you build your Evil Dead 1 or Evil Dead 2 dagger and showing a little more than what you can find on the internet, because when I was especially doing this one, there was certain spots that I really could not find screenshots of. And also I will mention Trick or Treat Studios dagger as well. Let's get started. Before we talk about the daggers, I didn't know this. There's salamanders that live underground in Montana. I woke up this morning and I closed the shop door and this 6-inch salamander started walking in front of that door in my shop. So I opened the door up and he crawled out and I got him on video. Here it is. I don't know how the hell that got in my garage. I've never seen this in Montana in my life. So just to let you know, we have lizards living underground in Montana. I've lived here for over 20 years. This is the first time I've ever seen one. But of course, everybody I talk to about it here, they're like, oh yeah, there's salamanders that live underground. I'm like, what? So it's pretty neat. Let's talk about the daggers. Now, first and foremost, if I forget something, forgive me for that. I do apologize. And if I forgot something, please put it in the comments, ask a question. Just do not ask, what are the sizes of the row bones? Because that would take forever. I don't have that much time. You gotta remember, buy the Visible Man kit, and then you can look at photos and decide and find out the sizes of the bones. So that's how you do that. First and foremost, the one thing we're gonna talk about right now is what I call the turtle dick. Right here, you can see this one right here, which was originally the Evil Dead 1 dagger that turned to Evil Dead 2. It's missing here, and also it's missing on mine. Now, if you have a Trick or Treat Studios dagger, it has it on top here. Now, what I understand, I think I've talked about this before, I'm pretty sure I have, Trick or Treat Studios, what I heard is that they had a scan of one of Tom's daggers from Evil Dead 2, and it wasn't the greatest, so they had to resculpt things in. So you cannot fault them for the product that they put out sculpt-wise, because it is a pretty good product. I ain't gonna lie, it's not 100%, but nothing is 100% unless it's the real deal. So there you go. Okay, the first thing other than that we're gonna look at is right here. Now, if you watch Evil Dead 1, you will see that these are kit bones right here. And these slots are normal to the kits. These were not filled in. Now, if you look here, they have been moved. One's still in the same position. The other one's been moved over and down. You can see how that's butting together, and this one's apart. Also over here, that's what I did. These are kit bones right here. You can see you can still see the little bit of indent on the one that I did. Now, when it comes to this front bone right here, the difference here, in Evil Dead 2, what I heard, now this is what I heard from a friend of mine, pretty good source, is that Tom did his dagger and then K&B also did a dagger on set. Don't know how factual that is, but there is major differences from the dagger that Annie picks up versus the one that's sitting on the desk with the lost pages and so forth and so on. So it is a huge possibility. So you can see this one's moved over and down. Same thing over here. And this one right here. And you gotta remember, the one I did here was all off of photos and also what Trick or Treat Studios did. And I will cover that here in a minute, because I had a Trick or Treat Studios dagger in my possession at the time. What they did here for molding purposes is brought this down. You can see this bone is up in certain scenes in Evil Dead 2. Even when Annie picks this up, you can kind of see this is kind of flat, but when she like holds it up like she's gonna stab, you know, creeping around the cabin, you can see it's up like this. Also, you will see it up like this in the Castle of Kandar. So when it comes to these bones here, you will see these ones are overlapped, and these ones are overlapped. These ones aren't really overlapped. Same as Trick or Treat Studios. Theirs wasn't overlapped. But the Evil Dead 1 that turned to Evil Dead 2 was overlapped, because that's an Evil Dead 1. So these ones are overlapped here. You can see overlapped. Now, there is the discussion, was there 2 Visible Man kits used? And so far, doing 2 daggers, I can honestly say no. The reason why I think a lot of people think there was 2 sets of the Visible Man kit is they put the bones together. They actually snap them together and glue them together and go, well, I don't have enough now. They weren't snapped together. That's the thing. They, maybe a couple of them, and that's about it. But the rest of them were not. Now, one big thing that we need to talk about is the foot positioning and hand positioning right here. You can see these ones are straight down. This one's pushed back. This one's pushed back. Now, when it comes to Evil Dead 1, this is correct. And also, this is correct. Now, I don't know exactly 100% if there was 2 daggers or if there was one that they redid the spit blood. But the one that actually spits blood, this hand on this side is cocked back like this. Same as here. It's not straight down like this one. It could have been something they fixed, or it was simply another dagger that they made to spit blood, because the rib cage on top is different from like what you remember what Scotty was holding. Let's talk about the drumsticks here. Now, a lot of people, when they make these, what they do is they take these and they go straight, like straight, and then cock them back. And it kind of looks like it from this angle, but if you do it like this, you can see that they are cocked forward. And one thing you gotta remember when you do this, and this is from the scene when it's on the floor with Scotty's girlfriend's hand holding it. And I do have to apologize. There was a video I was doing about this dagger and I kept saying Cheryl and Scotty's girlfriend. Sorry, that was just me having a brain fart. This fat end of this drumstick needs to be over here while the thin side's over here. Same positioning over here, fat side out, skinny side in. So you might have to eat a lot of chicken to get the right sides. When it comes to this one, these drumsticks throughout filming have been broken so many times from Evil Dead 1 and Evil Dead 2. These are replacements, and they've been placed so it can be molded, and I think these were added later. After the mold, these were molded and then attached. Not 100% sure, but it's probable that that's what it was because of the positioning and how hard it would be to have that undercut there. And another thing, you can see this is filled in right here on the drumstick, while this is empty, and that one's empty. So that was filled in. There's a lot of fill-ins with this, such as this right here is a fill-in. That was not in the film, either film. So that's why I don't have them on my dagger. That was a fill-in. There's a lot of fill-ins when it comes to this, just so they could make a mold without having major problems or major cleanup. Okay. One thing you'll also notice, this is a little bit shorter than the other 2. Well, that is because of this repositioning and this bone being put in here and this missing. So all that is filled in, this is moved down, and then you got a bone put in this place. So you're gonna have different positioning. Going back to the drumsticks, you can see that positioning where it's all going one direction. These ones were replaced, so you really can't take that as stock. But when it comes to Annie grabbing the dagger, you will see this one facing this way and this one facing the opposite direction when Annie grabs the dagger. So that's one thing to remember if you're doing Evil Dead 2 or Evil Dead 1. Now when it comes to the ribs, of course, they used, what I heard is Tom used cellulose, which is basically like a paper mache in a sense. So things fall out, things break, whatnot. It's, you know, back then they didn't have like the products we have now. So when it comes to Evil Dead 1, when it comes to these ribs, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. One going this direction. And then all the way up here, you can see that ridge line when Scotty is holding it. Also over here, you got 1, 2, 3, 4. You got a small one right here coming down, and you have another one right here going towards the jawline. Now this one, I don't know what has been replaced and what has been changed, so I really can't say if that's correct. But this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on the other side of this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's lacking that jawbone one right here and down here. That was specifically what I remember on Evil Dead 1, not Evil Dead 2. Let's talk about the top rib cage. The top rib cage on this one isn't from the kit. That is a later replacement. So if you get one of these, you're like, hey man, that doesn't look the same. Because it's not. It's not from the kit. This was put on later after Evil Dead 2. So that's just the way that goes. Just be happy that you have something that has lineage to Evil Dead 2. So, yeah. And also talking about this was a resculpt later. This blade was resculpted later. So that's why the size and everything, it looks different. It's something Tom did later. Don't know why, don't know if something broke. That's just, I don't know. So let's look at the teeth. If you remember back when I did this a year ago, this one is a tooth from Evil Dead 1. I really liked it, so I put it on there. It isn't canon to Evil Dead 2. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on that one side, on the top. This one, I just used a stock tooth instead of making it exaggerated like this one right here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, nothing up here. And these ones on Tom's, these were all put on later. Tom did this later. It's what I call the squashed grape look. Same thing with the other side. And you can find really good photos of the teeth. On this side, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And let me flip that back over. On this one, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. Another thing that you'll notice, like I said, this rib cage, we're not really going to talk about because it is a replacement. How this one sits versus this one. Same with Trick or Treat Studios here, that it's actually put into the sculpting part. This one just sits on top. And you can see how it's got that melted look because you actually have to melt it a bit to get that look. It's not easy, it's a pain in the ass. And this one is more stock. And on Evil Dead 1, the one that spits blood is a simple stock Visible Man rib cage on top without any bends or anything like that, nothing looking crazy. So that's what you have there. Now let's talk about the top of the heads here. Let's first go to the Evil Dead 1. Now this is from the kit and I cut as best I could to make it correct. And let's kind of hold it up, take a better look. But you can see that other spine piece right there, all the broken spots that are on there, on the back. Now the row of teeth, why I put the row of teeth on the back of this one is I don't have a perfect view of the back exactly from Evil Dead 1. I couldn't use this one because it has been altered too much to reference. Things changed to Evil Dead 2. And Trick or Treat Studios didn't have a row of teeth in the back. There is a scene where you can kind of see maybe a spine in the back of this one. But Linda's hands on it, so that's when she's fighting Ash. It's kind of hard to see. So let's look at this rib cage here and look at the back. Now this is from the kit as well, but it's like Trick or Treat Studios. All that stuff is filled in. And there's not a simple row of teeth. It's the same as Trick or Treat Studios. And I had to take what I heard into example that it was from a scan of one of Tom's. So that's a very good reference. So whether it's right or wrong, Whether they sculpted it or it was part of the scan, I'm going to use it because it works. Okay, and then let's look at this one. This one's actually more accurate to what you can find most of the time. That same spine piece on top. The sides are all shaved down. Evil Dead 2, you don't see all that broken stuff right there. That's all gone. They get rid of all that. So up here, this is all speculation. This is the same as like Trick or Treat Studios did. So, and I sculpted that stuff up top, same as Trick or Treat Studios, because they did their best. I ain't gonna lie, they did a great job. Okay, let's talk about other hands here. Now, the 2 straight down hands, that's correct. And you got the 2 straight down, or the straight down hand and foot here. But then you got this one where it's going back. Now, I do have photos of one of the daggers from Evil Dead 2 where it shows this hand going back. So that's why this one specifically has that. Because like I said, when I did this, I wanted something to be Evil Dead 2, Evil Dead 2. And will I do another dagger? Stay tuned. I may just talk about that. Top of the head. Evil Dead 1, you can see there's some gobbledygook on top. You will see the bridge line of where the piece from the Visible Man kid is versus the gobbledygook. And you will see that when Scotty is holding it. Now I blackened in everything right there because it looks good. You actually see a little bit more white of the forehead. So, but it just turned out perfect the way I like it. When it comes to this one, they filled in a lot for molding. That's what they did. So you can't take that as gospel of the look. Simple as that. When it comes to the Evil Dead 2, now we got those same 2 bones that you see, that you would see on this one and then also on this one. Let's take a closer look. See those bones, and those are kit bones. But on 2 views on Evil Dead 2, when it's sitting on the desk with the lost pages, you can see this line right here. Also the fake stunt one where it stabs Jake. And also there's one more scene, you can see that, where it's just sitting there. You will see this bridge line come all the way down. So, yeah, I mean, I've questioned it so many times, but I've gone over those photos so many times ago, okay, yeah, there was a bridge line right there. But if you're doing the Visible Man kit, you know there's a top piece that goes on top of the head. You don't use that. That's not used whatsoever making these daggers. So you can actually just, I don't know, do whatever you want with it, honestly. And what else do we have for differences here? We've got the spine in the back, we've got the thing for the butt, little butt gap. I wish I had a bigger butt on this, actually. When it comes to this one here, I didn't get a good view of this side, so I had to go with what Trick or Treat Studios had. But let's talk about the side right here a little bit more. I knew this was a bigger bone than what Trick or Treat Studios put on theirs. They put a bone from a thigh piece. That's what they did, from a thigh piece. This is a wing piece. Now let's look at this one, the lineage piece. You can see that it is, in fact, a wing piece. Because, let's turn this one around. And you can see the shape is very similar. But from Evil Dead 1 to Evil Dead 2, things have been changed around. Nothing is exactly the same. There's always been repairs, things like that. I'm very, very happy with these pieces. And when it comes down to it, I'm actually going to get a partial kit from a friend of mine, Chris Pollock, and I am going to make another Evil Dead 2 dagger. That one actually has a thinner blade like this. The reason why this one has a thicker one, Trick or Treat Studios did the same style blade that I did. I actually sculpted this. This is not a Trick or Treat Studios blade that's pulled off of it. This is not. I sculpted the entire thing. And when it's in, like, let's say Jake, or it's in Annie, you can see it's thicker like this, while the one Annie picks up is thin like this. So I want to do one that's specific to that scene with Annie, where the front is like this. Another thing I'm going to show you right now, is this piece right here is not a kit piece. I don't know where that is. I'm going to have to sculpt that. But there is one in here, and there's one underneath here. But you can prominently see this piece In Evil Dead 1, when the dagger's spitting blood, you can see that plain as day. There is other bones underneath here, kit bones, things like that, which I did put underneath here because this ribcage actually popped off. So I took a bunch of photos of that. So I know exactly what to put underneath the new dagger that I'm doing. Well, this one just has the few bones and you don't see anything else really underneath it, which I'm fine with, since this is put into the process of sculpting. These bones here aren't really painted. They kind of are. What I would do is I'd put some paint on it. I think it was a teddy bear brown on the bones, and then I get them wet and then I'd wipe them down to get that look. These ones are completely painted. It looks like when it came to a lot of the real bones in Evil Dead 2, there seemed to be either painted or stained. It's hard to tell. The problem is with staining them, you gotta find the right color stain and hope the bone reacts the same as the bone from Evil Dead 2 that was used on the dagger. So you're gonna have a little bit of problems with that. So there it is, there's the daggers. I'm sorry I ran a little long with this, but I'm excited about getting started on another one. Something different per se, because it's gonna be related to the lineage piece. It's gonna be original sculpt, but related to the original, or it's gonna be sculpted after the lineage piece in Evil Dead 2 versus this one that had this right here. This one, the next one I have won't have that. It'd be more of that style, that style. I still have to do some more research on that before I get that started, and I still gotta finish the chainsaw. But yeah, there we go. And there they are. Let's pull this around, give you guys a better look. And also to throw in there, when I make that new dagger, this one might be leaving because I don't want to make another stand, and just don't. Or the other one might, I don't know. We'll see what happens, or I might keep them. But anywho, I want to thank you all for being here, and just let you know, whether you're building a chainsaw or you're building a dagger, you're building a book, and you think you can get as good as you can with that one project, I'm going to tell you what, there's a guy named Brian Worthington. I've seen him from day one build chainsaws and just get better and better and better, and his work always impresses me. And just to let you know, if you do something and you don't feel comfortable after it's done that it's perfect, you can always improve and always do something different to make yourself happy with the final product. So, and that's just a thing I'm throwing out for you guys. Oh, great. Until next time, you guys stay groovy.